This all had a point, by the
It
way.
did it? Did it have a point?
It did have a point because with Tojima wants to be a common writer, episode 2, we start at a school with a clock showing 11:30 a.m. and the teacher is reciting poetry and it zooms in on a kid blushing as she walks through class and then he peeps at that butt. She calls on Asano, which is the kid peeping her, to read the next entry, but he was enthralled by her, but then reads the entry, and it's about feelings and shit, and he applies it to her, and he's like, I harbor feelings for you, even though you're a teacher. And she's like, cool, 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 cool. But you could just use the interpretation of another man's wife, and all the kids laugh at him. Cuts to Asano at home, and he's rolling around on his bed with his body pillow, and he's like, man, I love my teacher, Yuriko, and I wonder what she does for hobbies. And he dreams about her playing the piano, enjoying fine art, sipping on some afternoon tea. But then it cuts to her bench pressing 185 pounds and grunting and getting mad about Tojima beating up Shocker in just a mask. It flashes back to young Yuriko telling her dad kids picked on her, and he's like, and you came back without doing anything? She said, but they were boys. And then he's like, well, I know just the thing. And he throws on Kamen Rider Stronger. And she's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, shut up and just keep watching. In the show, it shows Misaki Yuriko talking to Kamen Rider, wanting to fight with him. But he says it's impossible because she's a woman. But then she walks behind a pillar and transforms into electro wave human Tak. And Yuriko's dad says she was the first warrior woman in Kamen Rider, and Yuriko fell in love with Tackle. Yuriko practices her transformation pose and says she's Tackle, but her dad is like, close. But she doesn't say the full Tackle. She just says Tack. Just like Kamen Rider V3 announces himself as V3, yeah! That's how he does it in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you nailed it. That was 100%.
I'm actually V3.
I know. I've seen you transform, Greg.
Later that night, young Yuriko is practicing her electro wave throw on a stuffed animal and knocks over some VHSs and sees one for Kamen Rider Stronger episode 30. And she's like, oh, I haven't seen that one. So she pops it in and it's titled Goodbye Tackle, her final battle. And Tackle sacrifices herself to kill a monster. And young Yuriko is mortified.
Dude, that poor girl has such PTSD from watching Tackle die. The horror in this child's face, I didn't know you could have that much snot liquid and tears and like drool come out of your face at all at the same time.
I love how they do crying and blood in this anime. It's just ultra exaggerated.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Way too much for what's going on. And it continues. So it's a reoccurring theme.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad gets home from work and Yuriko is laying in a pool of her own tears as she asks her dad why Tackle had to die and why didn't Stronger save her. Her dad is like, it's not like that. Ultra Cyclone is a move that gives up her life to defeat an enemy, and that's how strong the bad guy was, so she had no choice. Young Yuriko is like, oh, she did it to save Stronger? And he's like, yep, you got it. She's the best heroine ever, and that's why I named you after her.
I also have a question here, because this relates to like Samurai Champloo. There are so many moves that blow up the user to defeat the enemy in anime. Is that kind of weird, right?
As a story element and like a vessel to move a character out of a series for whatever reason, like either the actor quit or something and they had to like write him out of the story somehow. I think it makes sense to have like a noble sacrifice, keep the character's morals and ethics alive, even though that character is gone.
And still able to defeat the enemy at the same time. That's what's weird to me about it. Is like, you're choosing to show that the character is powerful enough to win only by sacrificing themselves, but the other characters couldn't stack up. So like, in like something like Samurai Champloo, like Mugen is the main dude. I forget the secondary dude's name. But he, spoiler alert, it's been 20 years. He gets in a fight with a samurai at the end and stabs himself through the stomach to stab the guy behind him. And you think he's going to die, but I won't spoil that for you, whether he does or not. But it's the same sense of mutual destruction. And it's always weird to me. It's like holding a grenade. Like you're just the grenade. And you're like, all right, we're both going, fuckface. Like that, it always weirds me out.
I guess to me it makes sense. I mean, number one, I don't know how you practice a move like that because you only can use it once.
Right.
I don't know how you learned it. Number two, how you practice it to where you can pull it off in a real combat situation. That part's kind of weird. The stabbing through the stomach or holding the grenade thing makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
I guess you just wake up one day and unlock a self-destruct ability and you're like, well, I guess I'll just keep this in my back pocket.
Yeah, I'll remember this one. And then, yeah, that's a tough move to learn. I don't want to learn that move when I become isekai'd.
I hope that's my only move, actually.
Oh, Greg uses it on the first mob. He's like, well, I've met my first trial and tribulation. Time to go.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, level 1 slime, self-destruct. But
God.
The next day, Yuriko's father says, Tackle isn't dead. And he dresses her up as Tackle in a costume and is like, she's right in front of me. And she's like, from now on, I'm going to be Tackle. That's back to present day, super serious Yuriko. And she says, ever since then, she's been marching down her Tackle road. And she's currently 24 years old, still following the path as she works as a teacher, as she's writing shit about Tojima and her being Tackle on the blackboard. And all the kids are like, what poem is that from?
That's a fucking weird one, lady. But hey, we're here to learn.
It cuts to the gangsters and they're going to hit 5 convenience stores. And the 3 lackeys are like, damn, again? We're going to get caught. But the boss dude is like, well, today I'm going with you guys. The boys are like, we can handle it. And he says, he's a fighter. And there ain't much need for his kind these days. And best he can do is drag them around as they act like kids. And then he mumbles, he would have preferred looking like a monster, like the spider. Cuts to Asano, and he meets up with Yuriko, and he confesses his love to her. And he's like, I had to blurt it out before I got too nervous.
Dude, this is the weirdest scene in anime history.
Damn, I'm being confessed to by one of my students. Oh, shit. But the robbers are robbing, and the police are in pursuit, and they pass Asano, confessing to Yuriko. And Yuriko sees the shocker robbers, and the boss gangster ultra punches the fucking police officers.
Dude, that shit
as
was so
Asano
dope.
is still confessing to her.
I couldn't contain my excitement for the beginning of the punching of this episode. I mean, this show is ridiculous.
I just like how the kid is like, I love you. And she's like, and then those sound effects. It's like, wow. And
it goes back. It goes between the two musical pieces. Like, these guys are over there just like fucking beating the shit out of cops. And then he's like, I love you. And she's like, okay, I have to handle this. And then it goes like, she looks over at them and it's just like fucking metal. It's so ridiculous.
The sound effects, I find them very comedic. Like,
yes, 100%.
It's just like everything else in the show. Like hyper exaggerated, like the crying and the punching and the blood and the sounds too, where like, we're going to see here in a second when she transforms into Tackle. The sound it makes when she goes to change her clothes and stuff. Like, it's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
I can't contain myself. I laugh every single time. And it
so
continues through the series, too.
Yeah.
So
it's Silly Billy Goats, the show.
But Yuriko is like, my prey is getting away. And then she runs after them. Cuts to Tojima walking, looking at the article of him at the festival. And the shocker guys are robbing the convenience store right next to him. And he's like, holy shit. And Tojima is like, hey, it's me. The gangsters turn and are like, do we know you? And he's like, oh shit. And then he takes out his Kamen Rider mask and he transforms, but he had to make the sound effects too. So he goes to get his mask, out of his backpack, he puts it on and he's like, and he transforms and starts crying again. And the gangsters are like, dude, what's with this fucking dude and crying all the time?
I just want to say, if I were to have this situation, if I was the gangster, I'd be like, oh, that's the guy that fucked us up last time. He's doing the weird transform. And you're like, I need to go now before I lose teeth again. So I should go.
Just then, Yuriko shows up with Asano in tow, and she sees Tojima and is like, hey, it's the fucking fake-ass Kamen Rider dude. And she's like, not on my watch. And then she blasts her chest out of her shirt and changes her clothes into tackle. And Asano is having the best day of his life.
I didn't want to take a picture of the screenshot, but her face made me laugh so fucking hard.
Are you going to make the sound effect?
No, I can't.
Oh,
I can't do it. I had to go. And so we go to the next screenshot. We had to go into the hot tubs portion of the stream for a second there.
She's like, do you still like me after seeing me change into this? And all the bystanders are like, yeah, dude, do you fucking like her or what? And then Tojima is ready to attack, but then Tackle punches him in the face, and all the gangsters are like, what the fuck is happening? And Yuriko is like, I'm fucking Tackle. She isn't fucking dead. One of the gangsters is like, oh, let me get some of those chesticles. And then she judo throws him through the other gangsters as Asano watches on. And then she puts her finger over his lips and is like, shh, this is our secret. As literally everyone else has been taking pictures and posting to social media. And then she runs off.
Insane behavior.
The gangsters get up and they're like, man, what the fuck? And the boss tells Tojima that this isn't over. And he's like, hey, man, she punched me too. And then the boss says that he always liked Shocker better, and then walks off. Tojima takes his mask off and watches Yuriko run away, and he's like, she might like Tackle just as much as I love Kamen Rider, or maybe even more. Cuts to school at 8:50 a.m., and Yuriko is looking at her phone, and she sees an article about her Tackle, and she's like, fuck yeah. And the other teachers are like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, no, it's nothing.
I'm just having the best day ever.
After credits roll, it cuts to the gangsters hanging out, and they're all calling their moms and stuff. But the boss has a monster mask, and he's like, I bought this monster mask, and shockered it up a little bit, and says when he wears it, he is now the monster Yakuza-man. The other gangsters are like, yeah, man, sounds good. And he says, if there's a Kamen Rider and a Tackle, there can be a monster like Yakuza-man. And he says they're getting back to work tomorrow night, doing more Shocker robberies. Cuts to a convenience store where there is a live streamer, but then the gangsters walk in and start the robbery.
It's crazy, the likeness that he shares with us.
Yeah, that's exactly... I thought I was looking in a mirror, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. He's like, I'm going to eat this whole shelf. And I was like, I do that all the time.
And the live streamer catches it all, and he's like, I'm going to get so many views. And one of the gangsters is like, hey, dude, you're buying way too many snacks. You're going to get fat. And the streamer's like, hey, I'm already fat. Hey, I'm a fat guy. It cuts to Tojima watching the stream, and he's like, Shocker robbery. And he's running towards it. But Yuriko is also watching it, running towards it. And they're like, wait a minute. Where have I seen you before? It cuts back to the robbers, and someone stops the boss. And is like, hey, man, you got to stop these Shocker robbery things. And they're like, fuck you, man. But then he yeets and turns into a real Shocker. And he's like, listen to the real thing, boys. And that's how episode 2 ends.
Yeah. As the wind blows, cast your eyes on Shocker. That guy was fucking shredded, too. Like, when... He just is like, yeah, step aside. I'm about to show you what the realness is. And I assume, where did he get his outfit from? Yuriko basically gets naked outside in front of a crowd to change into Tackle. And he's just like, I've had this on me the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the life of a Shocker.
Yeah. I didn't know. I was unaware. I was blissfully unaware. But now I know. Great episode. This show rules.
Am I doing it justice? Are my notes?
They're fucking
it?
spot on.
Okay.
Like, it's one of those things like when you're explaining a story to someone that you experienced, it's like, dude, you had to be there. You know what I mean? This show is so good. You should watch it. I think you do a great job of doing it justice, but it's one of those things like I feel like we all have a hard time explaining anything awesome happening in front of our eyes.
Yeah, whenever I yell V3 and I
Yep.
kind of feel weird.
It's perfect,
On
Greg.
stream, but
You're
yeah.
perfect. You're doing wonderful.
Okay.
And I appreciate all that you do for the show. The painstaking effort you go through to make everyone feel like they're a part of it. You're doing God's work, Greg.